Hey guys, Dr. Decks here. Welcome back. So we have quite the build update to give you today since we've done our last YouTube update on this deck. So we're basically almost finished with this front entry. We have an approved final inspection already, so we're pretty much done with all of that. We're just doing some of the nitty-gritty stuff before we get going on this back deck. So if you like this video, as always, don't forget to please subscribe to our channel. Basically, we have all the levels. I think the last time you were here, we were doing demolition of the old setup. Now everything has been reconfigured. We have the lower deck, a step, a landing, a set of steps, another landing, another set of steps, and then the final deck going to the top. So basically what I'm doing today is all that finish work's done on all those decks and landings and staircase, except for the skirt. So we're adding skirting. We had a meeting with the client and they just wanted a way to contain an animal. So we have to have a way to block off the backyard. Basically the whole backyard is blocked off with this hog wire fencing. So we just have to create a spot right here where a pet couldn't get through. So what we're doing is we're skirting this off, this deck off, fully all the way around from the house all the way through here, so no dogs can get through here. This eventually will be landscaped high, so it's not that I know they could get under there right now, but once the landscaping's done it won't. And then we're going to put a gate right here with a small section of hog wire right here so they can ingress and egress out of here and allow for the pet to roam the backyard and use the bathroom and all that good stuff without it getting out onto the busy street right over here, so without the pet getting through. That's the plan. But for today, we're finishing up the framing, the skeleton on this one side of the deck and staircase and lower landing. And then I'm actually gonna start vertically skirting it with TimberTech AZEK. Everything we're doing on this deck is in dark hickory. So all the trim, all the fascia, all the decking, everything's dark hickory. So then we're gonna skirt this off in dark hickory and then we'll plug it with the FastenMaster Cortex hidden plugging system. So I have all this, the side 2x4s up except for this lower section right here. So I just have to add a couple more pieces of framing. We'll get that framed up and then we'll be ready to start skirting this baby out. So with that being said, let's get back to action. Let's go down and start framing the rest of this skirting up so I can get some vertical skirting done so you guys can actually get a part of a build update of action going on. I saw those comments that some of you guys left about how I talk too much and don't do enough work. Well, let me explain something to you. All right, let's get to work. So I have all my framing done for this side of the skirting detail that we're doing on this project. So now we're going to start cutting down deck boards. We're basically just going to use AZEK, TimberTech AZEK dark hickory decking vertically for our deck boards. And we're going to face screw it and Cortex it all. So I have all these 2x4s that we're going to face screw to. And that's going to become our support for our skirt. So that's what's next, and that's what we're up to. Now that the framing's done, we can go ahead and start mounting all our skirt boards. I was installing a board, and in my haste, I forgot that there was a bracket at the bottom of this post. The posts are flush to the bottom of the beam, and that's the wall, the framing of the wall of our skirting. So because of that, I forgot to notch out the bottom, so I routed out a pattern underneath the bottom with a plunge router so that I could get the bracket thickness and the screw thickness out of the way so that this is nice and flat. And because I had to pull the board and a couple of the screws didn't come out, I'm putting a center screw, because this is all getting Cortex, so you'll never see the extra screw I'm putting in, but I'm putting a third screw in this board because the 2 screws are a little weaker because I had to pull the board out. So I'm just adding a couple extra fasteners in this one board only, just to make sure it stays put. And then what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll cinch the outer screws just a little bit extra, just to make sure that they fit tight, just to give it the maximum adhesion. Today I want to do a little walkthrough of the front entry that we just finished. What we have going on is we're pretty much done here. I got a little bit of trim work to finish up on this front entry. This project that we're on, we're doing the front entry and we're also redoing the back deck and a new set of stairs. So we're done pretty much with the front. So I thought I'd do a walkthrough with you and kind of show you exactly what we did and how we did it and all that good stuff. So what I'm standing on right now is the entrance from the sidewalk up to a platform that gets us to a couple different locations. You can either do a pass-through and just keep walking and access the backyard, or you can kind of come to the right and access some stairs that eventually will take you up to the front door. Now, if you saw the video that we did about demolition, then you knew that there was probably 4 or 5 steps that came up to a landing, and then you could either take a right and go straight up to the house, or you could go back down the stairs and access the backyard, which when I came out on the initial estimate didn't really make a whole lot of sense. It just basically was a way for the builder to get access to the front door as quickly and as dirty as possible. So we decided to lower the first level access point to just go 1 step. So you're basically just 1 step up off the concrete, and then you have your options of either going to the front door or accessing the backyard, which is simply 1 step back down off of this first, we'll call it a landing, it's a deck, whatever you want to call it. And then we had so many rises that we needed to get us to the existing deck on the upper level, okay? So as you can see here, we have multiple levels and multiple access points to get us to the front door. And the clients really did want something unique, and they wanted something different. And so as we were designing this, I approached them. When I came out on the initial consultation, I was like, okay, well, here's your options. You can either come back at the same angle and maybe do some landings and maybe a 180 and turn around and come back down. We could come off a 45-degree angle off this existing landing. We'd have to rebuild it to a level and then come back down. So it'd be like a 180 on a 45-degree angle, but they didn't really care for that concept. So I said, let me design something for you with maybe an additional landing point and maybe some different stairs going in different directions. I said, the only issue is that we're going to cover up one of your windows, maybe 2, I wasn't sure at the time, that go down in your downstairs office. And they were completely okay with that. So we knew that the glass was not tempered, and I told them that on our initial consultation. So I explained to them, look, if we put this staircase and landing in front of these windows and the glass is not tempered, it will not pass code, because we pulled a permit and got approval and all that stuff. So, but to pass the permit, to get a final inspection, we had to cover the glass, because they're having a company come out and add a protective film to the glass so that if it breaks, it doesn't shatter. It stays together, okay? So that's gonna happen. No need to comment on how you'd never build a staircase in front of that window like that. I feel sorry for the window guys and all that. Okay, I get it. This is what the client wanted. This is what we built. Okay, so what happens here is we had so many rises that we needed to get to the location. The one set of rises that I was kind of stuck to was this first set of stairs that go from the existing landing to our first new landing, which is down here. The reason for that is because we wanted to get the landing to land below that set of windows. What I did was I figured out how many stairs I needed to get us to that lower level, and I think I needed 8. 8 rises plus the rise of the deck. So there's 9 rises total. to get from the upper deck to the middle landing, we'll call it. And then from there, I had to decide, okay, we knew we wanted to come down at a 45-degree angle from that point. And I know I needed, after I had this lower deck built, I knew I needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 additional rises, plus the final rise for the deck. 7 elevation changes total from that middle landing to this lower deck. So to get us to that point where everything flows, once that middle landing was built, I had to frame this lower landing, knowing that I was going to have the lower landing, 1 step, and then the deck. Originally, I thought this landing was going to be higher, so I had planned on putting railing here. But because we only had 1 step, we decided to leave this open so you could access this landing. Like, let's say you're in the backyard and you're going to go up to the front door, you can come around and then just swoop up this way instead of walking all the way around and going up. It doesn't seem like a big deal, and actually it's not really a big deal, but it's all in design and preference and art, okay? Coming down off of this staircase, you then land on this landing here, which I wanted to frame it into this post because this post goes all the way up. It supports the roof. So I wanted to make it integral into the rest of this design. The post is a little bit twisted. That's why this is all kind of wonky. This is as big a board as I could get in this color. And so we had to kind of go with the flow as far as that post being a little twisted. That's why it looks a little off, because it is a little off. So that's how we kind of came up with the decision on where to make the levels and how and why. And if you'll notice, the decking direction changes every time there's an elevation change or a landing. That way, visually, because all the colors are the same, the decking, the fascia, everything's the same color on this project. So these boards run this way, and then the next step up, they run this way. So there's a change in direction visually, and then that's why I ran these boards on a 45. You'll also notice on this particular project that the first board's a full width board, and the last board's a full width board. So everywhere I could possibly do it, I try to make a full width piece. There's a couple places where I had to rip some boards down, and I always do that on the inside of the house because it looks a little bit nicer to have the outside board be a full width board. Okay, so now that we've done some explaining and you've seen the lower sections, let's go up to the middle landing and the upper landing. Okay, so we're about halfway up on our project, and you can see that there's this nice landing. It's a good size landing. It's like a 7 by 8 or 8 by 8 foot landing area. So not only do you have room to maneuver, but it gives you just a little bit more space. It looks a little bit nicer than a really small, tight landing would. And I really enjoy the flow that you get when you're using it. Coming up these set of 4 stairs, we put a grabbable handrail on one side of the staircase to code, required, between 34 and 38 inches above the tread nosing that terminate into the posts. And from this point, we can go up this last set of stairs. If you'll notice, we've also put lighting in each step to highlight your evenings when you're coming up and down the staircase. From there, we reskinned that upper deck, and then we trimmed out the wall, just like you do on the inside of a house, kind of like baseboard, just to make it look a little bit nicer. The old deck had thicker decking, so there was a little bit of a gap difference there. So we went ahead and covered all that up just to make it look nice and finish it off with the matching dark hickory colors. All right, and here we are at our final destination. We're at the front door. Went ahead and finished installing dark hickory here. There was a gap at the front entry, so we ended up making a threshold so that nobody gets their foot caught underneath the door sill or stubs their toe on it. So it's just a little bit cleaner transition than just trying to stuff something up underneath there to make it fit. So this is our uppermost landing, nice wide staircase. And actually, it's visually pleasing. You can come over here and kind of take a look. And I think it's a great add to the house. And our clients are really happy with it. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this portion of our build. Stick around, though, because we are going to be building and redoing the back deck as well. We have that stripped, and we're just finishing up the framing on that. And then we'll get that installed. And once that's done, we're going to be building a really incredible staircase to go on the back of that house. So thanks for watching this video. Again, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when we're putting out new content. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think of this particular build. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.